Good morning and welcome to this groundbreaking ceremony of the IUM Eenhana campus.
Director of Proceeding, Honorable Valden Devashia, Governor of Angwena Region, Honorable Professor David Namandi, Founder and Councillor Chairman of the International University of Management, the IUM, Honorable Shifidi, representing Honorable Election in Dawanifa, the Chairperson of Angwena Regional Council, Honorable Amos Nangolo, the Chairperson of the Management Committee of Eenhana Town Council, Honorable Regional and Local Authority Council present, Professor Oladel Alowol, Vice Chancellor of the International University of Management, Mr. Philippus Athena Nyeshilongo, on his absentia, our own Lieutenant General, retired Chief of the Defense Force, Tatendeitwa over here, Mr. Gabriel Mweshiange, Chief Executive Officer of Eenhana Town, Tate Johnny Hango over there, our Director of Health, our Regional Commander, Ms. Elizabeth Shibolile, Council and staff, distinguished invited guests, members of media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is indeed an honor and privilege for me to stand in front of you this morning in order to officially welcome you to this memorable event. This event remarks another yet milestone in the development of Eenhana Town as we witness the groundbreaking ceremony of the construction of an institution of higher learning. The International University of Management, IUM, a renowned tertiary institution of higher caliber that has produced thousands of graduates and professionals already rendering quality services to the public and private sector in Namibia. At the onset, I would like to welcome Honorable Valde Natangwen Devashia to this very important gathering. While I'm welcoming you, Honorable, I would like to use this opportunity to categorically commend you for your lustrous effort in ensuring that government development agendas are implemented, especially in Angwena regions, for the benefit of its people, especially the youth. Secondly, I would like to extend my special welcome to Professor David Namandi, Founder and the Chairman of the International University of Management. Director of Proceeding, allow me to use this opportunity to categorically appreciate Professor Namandi and his team for the rational decisions to prioritize Eenhana Town as an ideal town of choice to construct the campus of the International University of Management. Professor Namandi, we are convinced that your dreams has been always to ensure that the Namibian child and youth have access to quality education for the skill and knowledge development in our country. This is evidence when you have established a worthy Namibian private-owned university that today competes at the international level. As a town, we cannot shy away to mention that we are fully supporting your effort, and I'm pleased to inform you that the International University of Management, it's ours as Namibians. Therefore, let's give Professor Namandi a round of applause. I will fail in my duty, Director of Proceeding, if I do not welcome all of you, distinguished invited guests, to these prestigious events. On this note, I would like to warmly welcome you for availing yourself from your busy schedule to come and join us and witness this unique, historic, and memorable occasion. Your presence here means a lot to us. It serves as a clear indication that you are supporting IUM, Eenhana Town Council, and Namibian government policy and programs, and welcome the establishment of the International University of Management in Eenhana Town with both hands. So let's give ourselves another big omake. Director of Proceeding, distinguished guests, although my task here is simple to welcome you to this very important event, I would like to use this opportunity to inform you that Eenhana Town Council, our visions remain to make Eenhana Town a top destination for investment, resident, and tourism in the northern of Namibia. In order to achieve the vision, we adopt an open policy door to welcome all developmental suggestions and ideas on how we take our town to a higher level. We continue to prioritize our investor, such as IUM, as the backbone of the development of Eenhana Town. And we believe with our gathering today here, we are moving on the right directions. To this end, honorable members, distinguished guests, let me welcome you all to this event. I want everyone to feel at home now, during and after this gathering. Always make Eenhana Town your choice of destinations. We all have it takes to make you happy, comfortable, and filled with wonderful experience. We welcome you more in particular in Eenhana Town and the surrounding area at large. Professor Namandi and your team, the future student of this university, I assure you that Eenhana Town Council will make your stay in Eenhana Town safe, memorable, conducive, progress, and prosperity as you continue to educate our nations and generations to come. Welcome to the green side. With these few words, Director of Proceeding, I thank you for your attention.
As I indicated, this is a groundbreaking ceremony of the IUM campus that will be established here as soon as we have broken the ground. This whole area here where you see the cars back there, going down to those flats behind me, this is the plot that was bought by IUM to establish its campus. I'm saying bought so that it is understood. My name is Gary Wilson Munyama. I'm the Director of Marketing, Communication, and Stakeholders Engagement of IUM in Windhoek and everywhere. You see, when you look at this place, you find that there is a primary school, Paulo Samutenya, and then there is a secondary school, and here will be a university. As we were drawing up this program, we said that, you see, in Oshuambo, what do they say? Kuno ntana kuna shike, kuno ngobe. Kuno mtanda kuno ngobe. General Okwapukurangi. That's it. That's why we thought that we must also engage our pioneers, our primary school children, to come and also join us in this celebration.
My role is to present to you this morning a brief overview of the evolution and growth of the International University of Management, IUM. The International University of Management has its roots in a humble beginning. It was started by a Namibian who had a vision of education as pivotal to the development of post-independence Namibia, and felt compelled to make a contribution in this direction. So he took it upon himself, against all odds, to start a higher institution of learning with a single student in a tiny room in his house in Windhoek North, with a capital of only 500 Namibian dollars as starting capital in 1994. That visionary person is none other than Professor David Richard Namandi, the founder and chair of the IUM Governing Council. He deserves an applause. In no time, ladies and gentlemen, the backyard mini institution, initially referred to as Institute of Higher Education, emerged on the scene of higher institutions of learning in the country. With its launch on the 26th of October 2002 by the then State President, His Excellency Dr. Safshuna Nyoma, the Institute of Higher Education was transformed into the International University of Management, becoming the first private university in Namibia. Since then, from its humble beginning, IUM has grown by leaps and bounds in terms of its infrastructure, student population, as well as human resources for teaching, research, and general administration. The IUM vision is to encourage and develop an African cadre of men and women who can operate at international standards. And we have a mission that speaks directly to the vision, which is to establish a higher seat of learning in Namibia and train innovative specialists for the public and private sectors of Namibia and other countries in the world, and to train dedicated, knowledgeable workers who will provide leadership at national and international levels. To achieve the stated vision and mission, IUM management is poised to invest all available resources in carrying out with utmost efficiency the core functions of a university, which include teaching and learning, research, and community engagement. In terms of physical growth, as I mentioned, what started off as a backyard facility became a multi-campus university. And as I said before, our four core functions consist of teaching, learning, research, and community engagement. IUM continues to make significant strides by expanding in terms of infrastructural development, provision of new facilities, and equipment. As the university establishes branches all over the country and striving for uniformity and quality of its products, we ensure that although we have many campuses, our programs stay the same. In terms of student enrollment, the student population is distributed across the 6 faculties in the university as follows: Faculty of Business Administration, Faculty of Strategic Management and Leadership, Faculty of Information and Communication Technology, Faculty of Tourism, Hospitality and Events Management, Faculty of Health and Social Sciences, Faculty of Education. There are 2 centers as well, Center for Environmental Sciences, Center for Distance and E-Learning. In addition, IUM has a research and consultancy center with focus only on research and client consultancy services. In terms of our academic programs, our integrity as a university is defined by the quality of our programs. IUM is quality assured by the periodic audit and accreditation visitations by the national regulatory authorities for higher education in the country, namely the National Council for Higher Education and Namibia Qualification Authority. In this regard, it is good to note that all our 63 NQF registered qualifications have been re-accredited by the Namibian Qualification Authority effective from 2nd of September 2021. I am delighted to inform you all on this occasion that the Namibia Qualification Authority, by their letter of April 4, 2022, has also accredited 9 additional qualifications in environmental sciences at bachelor honors, masters, and Doctor of Philosophy levels. IUM is committed to good education. As the university places its students at the core of its vision, its commitment is to pave the way for better future for all our students by molding them into men and women who can operate at international standards. Since its establishment as a university, IUM has made immense contributions to the country's economy and society through research and training of thousands of young men and women who enter the labor force market annually, many of whom are today in different sectors of the country and elsewhere as managers, as teachers, workers, and decision makers. As a not-for-profit private university, we are well aware that in the free market, and the name of the game for survival in the free market is the rendering of relevant and effective services. For the survival and sustainability of our programs, we have been responding to the need to innovate more, and to be more agile and enterprising. Our integrity continues to be anchored on the type and quality of programs we design, develop, and deliver. By our resilience, by our ability to remain focused, and our individual and collective productivity. IUM operates on the principle of maximum utilization of limited available resources. More importantly, at IUM, we understand our continued relevance will depend on the relationship with our stakeholders, particularly students, employers of labor, including government entities and the private sector, as well as the enabling environment for development and innovation. Above all, in this environment of widespread open unemployment among graduating young men and women, the IUM curriculum prepares its graduates to be competitive in employment search, as well as function effectively in the labor market as job creators in their own right. Ladies and gentlemen, let me mention aspects of our research activities. IUM has since transitioned from being a predominantly teaching and learning institution to a university that is also pursuing vigorous research in all its faculties and centers. Research activities are guided by our policy as articulated in the 5-year strategic plan of the institution the latest one being the current plan 2020 to 2025. The stated goal of research in the current strategic plan is improved scholarly research outputs, publications, and university community outreach through individual work, collaboration, and team creativity. To this end, the approved strategy is stated as follows. Implement a comprehensive research program with available policies and guidelines to encourage scholarly inquiry and consultancies by masters, PhD students, and faculty in national priority areas that align with the university capacity for timely and meaningful outcomes. Based on the existing research policy, the 5-year IUM strategy plan has a research agenda which was developed in 2020, which provides detailed information on the ongoing and planned research activities by individuals as well as groups of researchers within the IUM academic community. In terms of community engagement, ladies and gentlemen, as part of its core functions as a university, IUM continues to get involved in community engagement for the furtherance of social and economic development of the country in general and the immediate environment in particular. Selected experts are currently serving on the boards and the special committees of bodies, agencies, and committees to which IUM has been requested to nominate experts. Very soon, I would like to assure you, Eenhana will begin to feel the presence of IUM, not just in its local development planning and management, but in environmental matters as well. We are here to serve you. Let me conclude this short overview of IUM evolution and growth by paying tribute to persons and bodies that have supported the institution in its efforts at development. For the accomplishments enumerated above, our sincere thanks must first go to all our stakeholders, our students, our staff, the parents and guardians, government and private sector entities, and so on and so forth, for their sustained support to the IUM vision and strategies. The oversight functions of the IUM Governing Council should not be taken for granted. Members have demonstrated their commitment to duty in many ways over the past years. Special tribute is due to the founder and chair of the Governing Council, Professor Namandi, for his indefatigable efforts to see to the fulfillment of the vision for a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future. Let me also, on the occasion, pay tribute to our hard-working staff, both academic and administrative, who work day and night to ensure that the vision that the university has for itself is brought to fulfillment. I thank you very much for your attention.
It is my distinct honor and privilege to stand before you at this auspicious occasion, very historic indeed, marking the groundbreaking ceremony of the International University of Management campus in Eenhana. It is indeed a milestone in the development of this growing town, Eenhana, which is the regional capital of Wangwena, and we need to applaud and give a round of applause not only to Eenhana Town Council, but to IUM leadership for taking this bold decision to set up this campus here in Eenhana. Can we give them a round of applause? Without repeating what the Director of Ceremonies and Prof. Arworo has already alluded to, at the onset, we really want to salute and Dr. Namandi for the visionary leadership, for the vision that you has already touched here when you started this institution from a humble beginning. We have been following closely the development of IUM when it started. When you started expanding, I believe with the first campus in Ngwediva, Brenguru, and I remember one time when we met, at some point in time, I said, the next stop should be our region. I do not want to say, where did you go to this and this other region, but the next stop should be our region. And today, we are here witnessing this historic occasion. Director of Ceremonies, the correlation of a nation's education system and its economic development applies to countries worldwide. The education aspect within human capital, expenditures into the education sector, and education quality are vital aspects of a nation's economic development process. Emerging markets are nations in their progress that have to overcome challenges to lift barriers towards economic growth and raise their global awareness. Apart from industrialized nations, emerging markets are also aware of the connections between education and economic development. However, their challenge deals with raising the necessary resources needed towards taking measures, and Namibia is no exception. Last week, we spent the whole week almost in Windhoek participating in a national conference on education, particularly looking at a reform of our basic and higher education system. It was indeed a good platform, and I know IUM also had an opportunity to facilitate one of the sessions, and it's a demonstration of the commitment of the government of the Republic of Namibia in terms of transforming education, making our education relevant. We have been talking for many years that our education system is producing the products that are not ready for the market, that are not responding to the needs of the market. And the recent education conference and the outcome of that conference really points towards the commitment of the participants, of the government, towards seeing to it that our education in terms of SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, where would we want to take this country as far as education is concerned? And I believe this campus is really in response to that. The necessary resources would substantially improve the education system, which would enhance the transition towards Namibia to become an emerging economy. Over the years, both government of the Republic of Namibia, the private sector, as well as development partners, have been investing a lot of resources in education in the quest to enhance the country's capacity of human resources in order to achieve the knowledge-based economy. I therefore would like to commend the leadership of IUM once again for having taken yet another step to invest in the state-of-the-art education facility, which will be constructed on this very ground where we are standing. And we believe this will go a long way in creating access to higher education for the young people in our region. Once again, a round of applause. This is well in line, ladies and gentlemen, with the Sustainable Development Goals, as I already said, National Development Plans, and the Harambee Prosperity Plan 2, which our President has always been referring to, as well as Vision 2030, which has been set by our founding President, which aims at building education facilities which provides a safe, inclusive, and effective learning for all. Director of Ceremonies, it is my belief that the establishment of the IUM campus in Eenhana will greatly benefit our young people from the region and the neighboring region, as they will no longer travel long distances out of the region to seek for tertiary education enrollment. Furthermore, employment opportunities will be created during and after the construction of the campus, which is a good opportunity for our people in the region once the campus becomes operational. Director of Ceremonies, ladies and gentlemen, higher education institutions are commonly recognized as organizations that not only provide for education, training, and applied research, but also key players in a socio-economic dynamics. Due to the interaction they establish with the local communities, business organizations, and several non-governmental organizations, both public and private, with which they combine synergies for the benefit of economic activity and the qualifications and the development of the people who inhabit within the environment and those who are attracted to the region. The impact of an higher education institution clearly exceeds the effect inherent to the presence and direction of an academic community comprising of students, teaching and non-teaching staff, and researchers, among others. If we listen clearly to the presentation by Prof. Haroro, he referred to applied research. He referred that the institution is committed to conducting research which is responding to the challenges that are facing the region. Therefore, we believe that we will be able to collaborate with the IUM, Prof. Namandi. As you know that our region has been classified among the poorest region. However, we believe that that classification is superficial. We need to change the picture. We need to engage, because our region is endowed with resources that we can use to transform the livelihood of our people. And we believe with academic institutions, we can achieve that aspiration. When I came in office in 2020, this has already been touched by the Director of Ceremonies here. I'm drawing close to the end of my statement. We have crafted a document that we are titled Strategic and Development Roadmap Framework, which is part and parcel of the greater regional transformation agenda. In this document, we have highlighted different interventions, strategic interventions, which is aimed at accelerating regional development. And the establishment of tertiary institutions in the region is one of the target highlights set forth in that document. I'm therefore very pleased to witness another significant milestone adding to the establishment of NAST Eenhana campus, which have just earlier this year opened its doors, currently temporarily accommodated at Billy William Wanengange Rural Development Center at Mbahu. However, Eenhana Town Council has also been generous in availing the land for them to construct the very soon campus to be constructed here. We would not have achieved all these developments if it was not for the team efforts from all stakeholders, including Eenhana Town Council, for having availed this land on which the campus will be constructed. It thus particularly important for all stakeholders to take a unified approach when it comes to development. And I think we need to give a round of applause to Eenhana Town Council here for the visionary leadership, because I understand when IUM approached you, you have responded within a record time. You did not take time to avail this land. As the Director of SEMA has already referred to, the number of the students that we have assisted, we are continuing to assist, is over 60 now. And I think we have over 20 students that are with IUM that we have paid for the tuition fees. If you talk to Mr. Nashilundo, or I think it's the registrar, he will tell you the number, because we have been communicating on a number of occasions to make arrangement for some of the students that were not in a position to write examinations, or some of them, their results were withheld because they have outstanding fees. And we managed to negotiate on their behalf for the institutes to allow for them, made the commitment that we will pay for them. So therefore, we deserve another round of applause for that. So Namandi. Director of Ceremonies, with these few remarks, is now my pleasure to extend a special welcome once again. In addition to His Worship the Mayor, he is welcomed you in town, but in my capacity now as the governor, to welcome you to the region and that feel at home. And finally, also I want to invite you, as of tomorrow, we have Ohangwena Agri Expo Conference, which is starting, and you are all invited to join us for that face of its kind expo of that nature in a region which we are hosting. It's part and parcel of us really trying to transform the region and to respond to the needs of our people. So please join us. There's going to be a very exciting program with the presentation, demonstrations, and also to support our farmers from the region. With that, Director of Ceremonies, thank you very much, and all of us for kind attention. Thank you very much.
But you see, we have people here, we have children here who are in grade 6 and 7, we have lecturers, we have those who have also joined us from across this country for this occasion. Some of them hear about Prof. Namandi only over the radios, newspapers, but he's here in life with us, here with us. Before I call him on the podium, I would just want to say a few words about the son of the soil. We heard SCM singing, IUM Oya Namandi. But Prof. Namandi will say, IUM Ekaishiange, IUM is for the nation. That's what he always say. And you know, one day before Corona, when we used to have big graduations, I witnessed Prof. Namandi say, he looked upon the graduates and said, I will die a happy man. That word really caught me, and it would always remain part of me. Because it is a vision that he turned into reality, a dream that he turned into reality, a message that he was given by God. And I think he is convinced that he fulfilled it. Through his passion for education and the realization of a great need for education for his people, Prof. Namandi, as it was said already, established this fine university in 1994, which started as an Institute of Higher Education, as already said by Prof. Aruolo, and today transformed into the International University of Management in 2002. Honorable Prof. Namandi has had and continues to have a rich political and academic career He was a freedom fighter who left this country at the prime of his youth to join the People's Liberation Army of Namibia, PLAN, that time of the liberation struggle, to fight for independence and freedom of this nation. He was a member of parliament. He was a deputy minister of education from 2001 to 2013, and a full minister of education from 2013 to 2015. He is a member of SWAPO Party, Namibia's ruling party, who had also served at its central committee level, the highest decision-making body between two congresses of the party. Academically, Professor Namandi holds various professional and academic qualifications from Africa, Europe, and Asia, including an MBA, 2 doctoral awards, and a PhD in business administration from the Asia A University in Malaysia. Namandi, Prof, was conferred professorship in the discipline of management from Global University of Cyprus on 13 November 2019 in recognition of its teaching, publication, and research, as well as his sterling work at building IUM from scratch since its inception those years ago, and his outstanding work to the Namibian education sector over many, many years. Professor authored books and published various articles in referral journals, that is, for example, a comparative analysis of the organization and management of education system of Namibia and Zimbabwe, managing education institutions, leadership and management models in perspective, rationale for establishment of the SADC Protocol on Education and Training and its envisaged benefits to the region. In the business arena, Prof. Namandi served as a chairperson and a board member of more than 12 companies and institutions. That Namibian Qualifications Authority, NQA, included, National Council of Higher Education, NCHE, as its chairperson of Accreditation and Quality Assurance Committee, Vice Chancellor and Rectors Forum as its first vice chairperson. At personal level, Professor Namandi is the owner and current group chairman of Onambabi Holdings Pty Ltd Namibia, which has subsidiary companies venturing into transport, properties, investments, fishing, hospitality, security services, and farming. For his contribution and achievements to the growth of education and advancement of business in Namibia, Prof. Namandi received, among others, the following: an international award for outstanding contribution to education from Central Bank of India in 2012, an Educational Excellence Award from Le Mondial, Mauritius in 2011. He was also awarded the Education Leadership Award at the World Marketing Summit in 2013 in Malaysia. And in July 2015, during the World Education Congress in Mumbai, India, he received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, which is known as CIMA. And until 2015, he was a chairperson of the Namibia National Commission for UNESCO. At home, he was inducted into Namibian Business Hall of Fame on 17 November 2017. And in March 2021, Prof. Namandi was elected as the chairperson of the Association of Private Higher Education Institutions in Namibia, referred to as AFAIN, which is a representative organization of private tertiary education and training providers in Namibia. It's a non-governmental network of institutions engaged in the delivery of higher education, training, research, and community outreach, established under the Namibian Companies Act as a not-for-gain organization. Ladies and gentlemen, I can go on and go on, but for the sake of time, this is the condensed background about this man who is going to address us. So you could see the emotions in us, some of us, when we are called upon to introduce them, Professor Namandi, because we do not really fit. We are not fit to call him. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Prof. David Richard Namandi to the podium. Prof.
Hi. Comrade Munyama. Was that not too much? Was that not too much? And people have to go and do something, work, and contribute to the development of the country. They cannot be sitting here for centuries. But nonetheless, thank you very much, my young brother, for your kind introduction. Now, let me do the necessary rituals here. We have in our midst very important people in our society, especially in this region. I want to recognize the presence of Honorable Valde de Ashiva, the Vashiva, governor of this great region. Your Worship, the Mayor, Comrade Kavanje, Honorable Regional and Town Councillors present, Professor Oladele Aruwalo, the man who is navigating the ship called RUM as a Vice Chancellor, Mr. Gabriel Benjamin, the Chief Executive Officer, Ms. Sophia Marumbu, Ayo Mongwediva Center of Excellence for Education Director, and your deputy, and the entire members and staff from RUM, Ongwediva. But the most important people that I also have to recognize here are the two brothers of mine, my comrades, who are the members of the Governing Council of the International University of Management, representing the rest of the council members. But we have Lieutenant General Comrade Denga Deitua and Dr. Benny Murongeni. I would like also to recognize the presence of our progressive media. I can see the house is full. The whole, that table is full of journalists. I'm very happy that they are here to go and disseminate the information that's presented. So when you have a journalist in your midst, you have to be very careful. You have to watch what you say. And therefore, you also have to stick to what you have written. If you say things without reading, you will one day say, I was misquoted. Some people say they are misquoted even when they are reading. Very interesting indeed. My sons and daughters, students from IUM, and the future students of IUM who are singing here beautifully from the primary school. Thank you very much. You are such a wonderful team. Director of Proceedings. It is once more that exciting time when friends and well-wishers join IUM community of scholars to witness yet another milestone in the history of this university. Not too long ago, IUM had a groundbreaking ceremony at Swakopmund in the Rongo region. The construction of IUM Research, Training, and Conference Center in Swakopmund shall start in a week's time. So, IUM is growing in leaps and bounds, and nothing but nothing will stop the inevitable growth of this fine university. A university which started with one student and one lecturer, 28 years since its foundation, now has student population over 13,000, and of course over 400 employees. To me, this is an achievement by all standards. Thanks to the employees, thanks to all stakeholders, including our government, parents, sponsors, and well-wishers. Kudos to those who went through its doors. We set ourselves a sacred mission to accomplish. A mission we shall not be disengaged, come hell or high water. Eenhana town has been growing speedily, and this has not gone unnoticed by IUM Governing Council. A decision was thus unanimously taken after the university was approached by Eenhana Town Council to have our presence felt here in this fast-growing town. So I want to make it very clear, and very, very clear, that we go where our services are needed. Because IUM is a demand-driven institution as opposed to supply-driven institution. Some thought when we visited this allocated plot on the 20th September 2021 and promised that we shall soon establish ourselves here, that it was just a mere talk, because always talk is cheap. Here we are today, heralding the first phase of construction of a 25 million high-tech campus, bringing education to the doorsteps of our people, the people of the great Ohangwena region. Now, let me say this. When we established ourselves in Nkurenkuru, the Kavango West, we said, we brought IUM here because that was a demand. And we would not like to see this center, this infrastructure, turned into a white elephant. I want to say the same thing to the people of Angwena. We mean business. Business is our future. We have come to impact knowledge, to the future generation of this land through Ohangwena region. We therefore request parents, guardians, to ensure that instead of sending students to Venduk, IUM Venduk, or any other institutions, education is just here at your doorsteps. So, don't betray our trust. The rest, leave it for us. We will deliver. The other thing I wanted to say, this earth, is it 235? Earth 235, isn't it? It is not a donation from Eenhana Town Council. It is not a donation. It was bought cash by the university. Because we feel Eenhana Town Council also need the money so that they can continue to develop this beautiful town. It must be a concerted effort. So, I know there are those who say, I know they were just given the land as a donation. No. You better go to Eenhana Town Council or to the Dean's office to verify. The strategies which IUM has been undertaking this year are performed under the university's annual theme of the Year of Consolidated Performance. We wish this declaration of IUM to be interpreted in the context of Namibia's Vision 2030, though many people already believe there are only a few years left. So in the Vision of 2030 and the African Agenda 2063, that is the Africa we want. Education, particularly tertiary education, is what is left when everything else learned is forgotten. I keep on telling people that education is under construction all over the world. Yes, the governor has said, we were together in that conference, that we were in Venduk trying to strategize the future of education of an ambient child. Review and see how best we can make it attractive, how best we can make it to benefit the development of this nation. But let me say this, colleagues. Education is like a computer. You buy a computer, bring it in your office. If you don't feed the computer with the information, forget. There won't be any computerized information. The same applies to education. You can review, change, amend as much as you can, but if the products that are produced by that education do not or cannot have access to capital in order for them to establish businesses, forget. They will always remain unemployed. Therefore, it is my appeal to corporate citizens, I'm talking of companies here, that it's about time. It's about time they establish what I can call graduate fund. A graduate fund which can, I propose, managed by either Old Mutual, Sanlam, or perhaps commercial banks to help the graduates from tertiary institution to establish businesses. I will be the first. I will be the first to dig deeper and deep in my pocket to provide whatever donation is to be made by corporate citizens. And I'm very serious with this. On condition that that fund, when students are given assistance, that fund should be interest-free. Interest-free. Look, the development of the programs at the tertiary level, some people might not know that. Before you develop the program, you must, it's a must that you invite stakeholders. We call them stakeholders engagement. They come and look at what you have proposed and they make their input. What does that mean? It means the programs that we are developing here in this country have the blessings of the corporate citizens, including the government. It's therefore ironically for one to go and say tomorrow, look, what we are producing here is a mismatch. It's a mismatch. Meaning the supply does not equate demand. I tend to differ. Let me tell you where the problem is, why our people are unemployed. It's because the labor market is limited. It's so small. It's small to absorb all the graduates from tertiary institutions. Let me also tell you something that many people might not know. We don't only train for the jobs that are available today. No, you don't do that. We are living in the world called the 21st century world. Now, in the 21st century world, you are required when developing, when mounting when mounting programs, they must have at least 4 important C's, especially when those products should match the 4th Industrial Revolution and or the 5th Industrial Revolution. 4 C's. Those products you are producing, those graduates must be critical thinkers. Critical thinkers. They must be creative. They ought to be collaborative. And of course, communicative. Those are the most important skills that are needed in the 21st century. We cannot just train them for the market, Namibian market. We can't. We cannot confine ourselves. We don't work in silos. We want our students, our products, our graduates to be able to work in Rwanda, in Angola, in the United Kingdom, United States of America, in Russia, because they are given skills that are compatible. Not just for the market, this tiny market, Namibian tiny market. We can't do that. Therefore, I want you to applaud and to salute professors and lecturers at higher education institutions. They are doing their part. Please stop demotivating them. You are demotivating them. Well, they are not angels. They might have some weaknesses here and there, but they are trying their level best under extremely difficult conditions at times. It's about time, as a nation, we think internationally. Namibia, like many countries in Africa and elsewhere, in the developing world, has vast resources in terms of energetic young population and vast and untapped natural resources. Often, however, we are misled and brainwashed by the international media to believe we are a poor country with incapable young people who are not capable of making a contribution to the development of their country or their own development. This is a myth. I don't believe that, and you should not believe that. You must refuse. We believe that our young people must be trained and educated to become entrepreneurs so that they can create jobs, thereby generating wealth for the nation. IUM had the above in mind when we mounted a curriculum which puts great emphasis on entrepreneurship. Our new accredited programs under the Center of Environment Studies is geared towards addressing the gaps, which we feel are holding our country back in development. It is my belief, ladies and gentlemen, Director of Proceedings, that challenges facing communities could be an opportunity of breeding ground for innovation solutions, which will eventually carry our country forward into prosperity. For this to happen, a new mindset is a prerequisite to see possibilities in opportunities. To see possibilities and opportunities in every challenges we are faced with. And I also want to say this. We want, as I always say, to be a nation of great thinkers and achievers. A nation that utilizes its available resources carefully and economically. And of course, we want to be a nation that believes in mind power as opposed to physical strength. Let people know that this nation is a nation of great heroes and heroines. And we will overcome. We overcome great enemy, colonizers, that were trying to make sure Namibians don't develop. We overthrow the yoke of colonialism. We can as well overthrow the yoke of poverty and backwardness. But we will only be able to overthrow this yoke of backwardness if we discard the following baggage. Jealousy, number one enemy of the nation. Because as far as myself is concerned, jealousy is the mother of witchcraft. With jealousy, you will never build a nation. The next baggage that we need to discard is laxity. Let us be wise. And all of us dirty our hands as a nation because we have a promised land. We have not yet achieved what we set ourselves when we were fighting for our independence. Economic independence is very important. You can be politically free, but if you are not feeding your people. I was asking myself questions the other day, Comrade Governor. I was asking myself a question. I said, look, China, a country with 1.4 billion people, but they are feeding themselves. Really. India, with a population of 1.3 billion, but they are feeding themselves. Nigeria, with a population of over 207 million. I've not had many refugees from Nigeria. Namibia, with a population of 2.5 million. We seem to be struggling to feed our people. Why am I saying that? We are not producing food for ourselves and for export. Why? We have vast land here, fertile land. We have all the resources. We were supposed to reproduce for Namibia and for the rest of other countries in terms of export. So it's important for us to discard laxity and make sure we move forward as a nation. The new IUM Eenhana campus will be a vibrant center of learning, which, once fully operational, will offer programs offered through IUM campuses such as environmental studies, IT and computer science programs, management science programs, strategic leadership, tourism, and hotel management. In other words, this campus would be a fully fledged campus. As I'm about to close this address, I want to say, in addition to face-to-face programs or teaching at this campus shall offer distance and open learning programs for persons who, for one reason or the other, could not access full-time or part-time university programs. The main objectives here is to make university education accessible to all, thereby enhancing regional development, as it were. It should be noted that IUM offers soft skills programs aiming at upgrading and keeping professionals up to date with current job market trends, let alone 21st century skills. Director of Proceedings. Finally, and very finally, with this, is now my distinct honor and privilege. But before that, Director of Proceedings, I want the team, the professional teams. I'm talking of architects, engineers, quantity surveyors. I want them to stand here, if they are around, with their. I'm sure they have that thing. What is it called? Can you please come here, if you are around? Architecture or whatever expression. Where is it? Do you have it outside? Bring it here. I want to see it. Many people might not have seen it. They don't know how their campus is going to look like. Don't forget, that is the first phase, Comrade Governor. First phase. But I still want to appeal, please let the students study in their own campus. That is how it's going to look like. Let everybody see it. That's the first phase. Now, that is that. At least the media, you are able to see what you are expecting to thank you. Now with this, it is now my distinct honor and privilege to officially declare the groundbreaking of IUM Eenhana campus duly completed, and to announce, that's very important, and to announce that construction shall commence shortly. Thank you very much.
As we have heard that this land, it's not a donation. For the public, I would like to call Mr. Is it Stevie or Mutota, just to come and explain where this. I heard this 15,000 square meter land. Ne? People would also like to know where it starts and where it ends, just in few words, if you don't mind. Kindly come and help us here. Somebody is saying it's a men's show. So Deputy Mayors and your delegation, can we please stand? Elman, can we stand and join while Mr. Mwaningangi is explaining where this plot starts and where it ends, and we honoring of handing over the land.
ERF 235, Eenhana proper. The F extent is about 15,000 square meters, and on the west, the ERF is bordering the circuit here. Of course, it's a plot of Haimbile Ofiku. On the south, it's bordering the tar road just behind the tent here. On the east, it's also bordering the tar road that is going to the B1, or sorry, rather B10, the Onuno Congo Road. And on the north, as you can see, the tar road on the north, that's the borders of ERF 235 that has just been handed over officially to IUM for the construction of the campus. Thank you.
Director of Proceedings, Mr. Jerry Munyama. As has been said, my name is Ferdinand Ngashparashifidi, the Regional Councillor responsible for Endola constituency. I am stand-in for the chairperson of Management Council, who could not be with us, is out of the region because of other equal important commitments. So the statement reads as follows. Director of Ceremony, Mr. Jerry Munyama, Director for Marketing, Communication and Stakeholder Engagements. Honorable Valden Natangwe Ndevashia, Governor of Ohangwena Region. Honorable Prof. David R. Namandi, IUM Founder and the Council Chair. Prof. Oladele Arowalo, AUM Vice Chancellor. His Worship Omri On Kavanje, Mayor of Eenhana Town. Regional and the local authority councillors present, Mr. Gabriel Benjamin, Chief Executive Officer, Eenhana Council, and I have observed Regional Commissioner Elizabeth Shibolile and the Lieutenant General Ndeitwa, who is with us today, resident of Ohangwena region, all business community and special invited guests, member of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Still morning? Afternoon. Good afternoon. I am very delighted and simultaneously excited to be part of this groundbreaking ceremony by the International University of Management here in Eenhana Town and Ohangwena region in particular. Education is a collective effort, and it's required by all of us in all spheres of life. It is very instructive, as well clearly stated in our long-term national development plan, that by 2030, Namibia will educate her human resources. The United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 4 put emphasis on dedicated to ensure inclusive and equitable equality education and promote lifelong learning opportunity for all. Therefore, as the leadership of Ohangwena region, hereby thanking the International University of Management under the capable leadership of Honorable Prof. David Namandi by bringing the university closer to our children's. Let me also take this opportunity to thank all of you for making it possible to come and witness this noble occasion. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, once more, thank you and God bless. Thank you to all.
Very good. Okay. Very good. Thank you very much, Honorable.
Bochaka tembele General Natale ye mutu asimbi makambo yango la mboka